Election technology was today the centerpiece of arguments against the August 9th presidential election results, with petitioners painting a picture of an adulterated, insecure, manipulated and altogether broken election system at the IEBC. Lawyers representing the petitioners cited unauthorized access to the system by, among others, foreigners and non-accredited locals as proof of manipulation. Let's get more from our very own Sam Gituku.
The petitioners poked holes into the IEBC election results transmission system with assertions that the system was interfered with both within the IEBC and by foreigners.
There was not only one foreigner involved, there was several of them, and the ones I had mentioned earlier. And throughout the process of counting, several of them were involved as super administrators. Super administrators is the power to even create and join servers to the system, change, alter documents, delete documents.
Senior counsel Philip Murgo claimed that the IEBC online portal that hosted the Forms 34A had unregulated access by persons who had rights to even alter details in the forms.
There was a systematic deduction of the votes cast for the first petitioner, and the same number of votes that were deducted from the petitioner were added to the votes of the second respondent.
Murgo had made reference to affidavits filed by John Gidongo directing the court to access logs that he suggests were used in intercepting results before they were released for public access.
They were intercepting results before they were uploaded on the public portal. Remote access means somebody outside the walls, virtual walls of IEBC. In other words, somebody somewhere sitting out of the system has the key and can log in.
The petitioners believe that the manipulation of the technology system was to arrive at a premeditated outcome.
My hypothesis from where I stand, clearly a result for the first respondent, that is Mr. Ruto, was being arrived at well before the tally was in. And each time work was being done to try and fit A and B into that result.
Murgo told the court how Form 34C, the final results declaration form for the presidential election, was being worked on at least 3 days before the final declaration. The petitioner believes the form should have only been generated once upon the conclusion of vote tallying and verification.
As of 12th August 2022, 15:48 and 43 seconds, a Form 34C had already been generated. What was the business of anyone within that system generating a 34C?
The petitioner alleges that officers of IEBC, including Chebukati's personal assistant, had unrestricted rights in and around the election technology into the results management system, yet they had not been gazetted as having such powers, neither had their role been defined for the sake of accountability.
We may not see the fingerprints of the third respondent in the ICT system. We see his palm, his much larger presence through the actions of his PA. Indeed, you will find, when you study the system, that Dixon Kwanusu performed a purported verification process of 34A's 1,743 times.
The petitioners are also relying on an affidavit filed by Commissioner Justus Nyang'aya, who is the chair of the ICT committee of IEBC. He has told the Supreme Court that he was locked out of any ICT duties from the day of the election by Chairman Wafula Chebukati. A few weeks to the general election, some Venezuelan nationals were arrested at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in possession of material relating to the elections.
What we have before the court is clearly a corrupted and compromised RTS system which does not meet the demands of the Constitution and the Act.
In the end, The Supreme Court judges sought to understand how forms transmitted electronically were altered and whether the physical forms delivered to the Bomas of Kenya were affected as much.
The journey from the polling station to Bomas, the things that happen in between must be described by the nature of that image. And so that time when it is taken, and as it is being sent originally, is it in PDF form?
When the KIMS kit takes the image, these forms are written in handwriting. How can you explain then, so that I can understand, how a form can be changed in handwriting? This is not typing, it's in handwriting. All these forms are being uploaded and changed, different people's handwritings. How does that happen?
President-elect William Ruto, IEBC, Chairman Wafula Chebukati, and Commissioners Abdi Gulia and Boya Molu will have their day Thursday to respond to the allegations made in court and the evidence presented. Sam Gituko, Citizen TV, Nairobi.